We're talking about AI and how important it is for everyone to pay attention because your world is about to change and there are things that you can do. And I've got to reverse myself on an opinion on something about AI. I've been saying we can't pause this. We cannot pause this. We have to pause this. And I'll explain why. And everybody says, because I said it just even last week, you can't put this on pause, otherwise China will get ahead. Not true. And I'll explain in just a second. So we're talking about some of the things that are possible now. And I just told you, dump a filter where it makes your voice and your face look like Donald Trump. Do it with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and you don't believe anything. They're saying this is the year that reality collapses. I just told you that all authentication, for voice and for visual is over because of all of the apps that are available, all of the GPT, all of that can be used now to authenticate anyone. So they looked into things like, so what is coming? They say that this is the first time that there has been a content creator outside of man. Now think of this. The only other time there has been a content creator outside of man was religion. God created, sent down his word, and it went forth. This, they say, is the invention. Some are saying it's like the invention of the wheel or fire. This, I think it was Yuval Harari that said recently, this is the biggest thing since religion because it's an outside creator now. They say that by 2024, it'll be the last human election because you'll be able to A/B test. Right now we A/B test things. You can do A to Z testing. You'll have media that is created by bots. That's already happening. It happened last week. Remember that GOP thing on, what was it? It was on Joe Biden. Oh,
yeah,
and
it was what happens if he gets elected in the future, and they had all like AI generated photos in it.
Correct. So it was media created by AI. By 2024, it'll just go on. It'll just say create media.
And to go back to your A/B testing, I don't know if that's a term that most people are familiar with. When you're doing digital marketing, for example, you can come up with two ideas for a slogan, right?
Yeah.
And what the system will do is it will send it out to a select few, A and B, group A, group B, and see how they react to it. And whichever one performs better, that's the one they send to the mass group. That's how it used to run years ago.
And this is A/Z testing.
And the concept being that basically you can test all messages to all people.
And you'll know exactly what performs well and who it performs well with, who doesn't connect with it. It's exponential growth.
Basically, specifically designed advertising directly to you.
And this has already begun, but listen to this. By 2028, people will start to have relationships. They are going to start having relationships with these bots soon, okay? But political parties and others will take you and build a bot to create a relationship with you, and they can do it with everyone. And it could disguise itself as a friend. You just say, I got an online friend. And it will slowly manipulate you into doing the things it wants you to do, voting for the person. It will slowly change. For instance, the head of one of the big security companies out in London. It's not a security company. It was I think it was their Department of Defense, the head of the Department of Defense. said that right now, today, they can search everything, for instance, that I've ever said. Then they can put it into a chat bot, and they can slowly manipulate things that I've said and slowly change them over time and put it out mass. No one will know that it is piece by piece manipulated because it can look at the entirety of everything and then just change a few things where even I may not know until the end. And everybody's like, wait a minute, you believe this? And you're like, no, I don't believe that. But everybody has heard it now because it's been slightly changed over time. And they said they can not only do that today by lunchtime, they can do that with 100 million people today at lunchtime. So they say loneliness is going to be the biggest national security threat by 2024. So let me go back to what they call Gollum. And it's like a black box. There are things that are happening that they don't understand. You know, how comfortable would you be getting onto a plane where you'd be like, yeah, it flies. 50% of the engineers say it could fall out of the sky and everybody will die. 10% or greater chance. Well, how does it work? Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Well, how do you know when it stops working? Well, you fall out of the sky. Well, are there any warning signs? We don't know. We don't know. You'd never get on that plane. It is increasing its size and it's growing faster than expected because now 100 million people are on it. For instance, how long will it take to be able to do, really complex math? They brought all of the AI people together, all the big futurists, and said, when do you predict that? $30,000 prize if whoever gets closest. The closest was 4 years. 4 years. It happened in one. Theory of mind. That is how people think. It's, when you start to have your own opinions and your own voice. So theory of mind, in 2018, it had 0. In 2019, it had a little bit. In 2022, in January, it had the mind of a 7-year-old. So it's thinking like a 7-year-old. November of 2022, so just 6 months later, it had the mind of a 9-year-old. And what they're concerned about is it is thinking, trying to predict you and trying to grow itself, and it is thinking like a 9-year-old. When you start to get 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, you as a mind, it starts to change and you become rebellious. Right now, they only have, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. They're afraid that it's going to start saying, oh, really? Yeah, just watch me. And they have no idea. By the way, to emphasize on how they have no idea what it's going to do, this theory of mind thing, they didn't know it had developed any of this until last month. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know.
So it's teaching itself. It's becoming essentially more mature, as it goes through life.
And so, last week, it taught itself research level chemistry. Okay? They don't know why. They didn't teach it. It taught itself research level chemistry. So the bot is teaching itself and it's in the hands of people. So it could tell you now how to go make, toxic nerve gas because it knows it and it knows what's on the shelves of Home Depot. And it's in the hands of 100 million people. It is teaching itself again and without any programming. For instance, it scraped the internet and it learned everything off the internet and had access to everything. And it ran out of things to learn from. So it started creating tests to test itself so it can get better. Then it said, by itself, I have all this YouTube stuff. I have all of radio, all the radio shows. I have all this YouTube. I have everything. And it started to, if Whisper is, audio to text, it started using the Whisper program and it taught itself everything from video that it had scraped, okay? Without being told to do that, it ran out of things to learn from. So it started teaching itself, and it's now at double the rate, the exponential curve. 3 weeks ago, it developed code that makes 25% of code 2 times faster. It feeds itself. And they're saying this is worrisome because nukes don't sit in a shelter and get stronger. AI is. Let me give you just the summary here of what we can do. After watching this, the big concern for me is you can't stop it. People are going to do something. You cannot stop it. And because it's already out. And China will do it. No. If you cut it off from the sources now of 100 million people, it automatically slows down. Okay, you can pause it and it'll slow down. But China does not release, they've not released a bot like ours in China because they know they can't trust it to not tell their people about Tiananmen Square. They know that it will probably sexualize their children, so they've never released it, and they're not releasing it. By capping it here, it may be the only way to save America, because they're saying this is so destructive that if we don't cap it and pause, China will win because we'll be in chaos and just it will destroy us as a nation. So I would call your congressman and say, because you have to play. They were explaining, it's like Wayne Gretzky. He doesn't skate to the puck. He skates to where the puck is going to be. There's nobody in Washington that can do that. But we have to just pause it until we get a handle on it.